So today I have a new brand to show you guys. This is ALCADUS. It is a brand that is actually on Kickstarter right now. I believe they've actually already funded as well. And they're coming out with two watches. One is a pilot's watch. That is the Opus in my left hand, and then my right hand is their dive watch. This is called the Dromo. It is a 200-meter dive watch. And they are making a lot of improvements to these watches. So these are prototypes, and they've given me sort of a laundry list of improvements that they are going to be making. There are some that I think need to be made, some that maybe don't need to be made. However, I'll go through both of the watches and we'll go through some of the improvements that they're going to be making. So the pilot's watch and the dive watch share the exact same case. So the case, the lugs, the thickness is different, obviously, because one is a dive watch with 200 meters of water resistance, one is a pilot's watch with 100 meters of water resistance, but you're getting the same lugs, essentially the same lugs, essentially the same case, except you're getting a ratcheting bezel on this version. The bezel is actually a sapphire insert. You get applied indices on the dial, on this blue dial for the dive watch. You have an applied logo there at 12 o'clock. That is their logo. And then on the pilot's watch, that is painted on. You're getting BGW9 on the pilot's watch, and you're getting C3X1 on the dive watch. So they made a little bit of a difference there as well. Same hands, except you're getting silver hands on the diver, black hands on the pilot's watch. I'm not sure if that's the same for all of them throughout the entire lineup of watches, all the different colors. I'm not sure if they're changing those per the actual color of the dial, but you're getting a white chapter ring on both of these watches as well. You're getting the exact same crown. They are loomed, I believe, and there is a little trick to them as well. When you unscrew them, you can see there's a little red there. I wish it was a little bit more red so you could see it a little bit better, but once you unscrew the crown, you can see a little bit of red right there. You can see that the movement does hack. This gets a 9039, so a Miyota 9039, which is the dateless version of the Miyota 9000 series. And then on this one, you're getting a 9019, I think, and that's because you're getting a date there at the 6 o'clock. So it's a little bit different from the 9015. But it's essentially the exact same movement. And like I said, you're getting that white chapter ring, and here you're getting painted on indices, but you get that logo there at the 12 o'clock. And the date does have a color match date wheel. It's actually very hard to see, but I kind of like it. It sort of blends in with the dial, and I like that, obviously. You do get domed boxed sapphire crystals, and one of the first improvements that they say they're going to be making. The crystals are distorted when you move them on their side. They're saying they're going to enhance the clarity. I don't know how they're going to do that unless they reduce the boxed and domed feature of these sapphire crystals. And I hope they don't do that because I really do like them. They also said they're going to drill the lugs, so that would be a very welcome addition because you're not getting quick release on the bracelets. So that's very good. I believe you're getting one strap included in the package at the price that they're currently offering. We'll talk about the price in just a few minutes. But before we do, let's do some quick measurements. So essentially the lug to lug and the case are exactly the same size, but I'm going to do measurements just to ensure that this should be a 39 millimeter watch, so it comes out to 39 millimeters. The diver, the exact same thing. Their measurements are 39 millimeters, so you're getting basically the exact same case, basically the exact same size. Thickness on this watch on the diver is 13.7 with 200 meters of water resistance, 13.6. Not bad. The crowns are exactly the same at 6.3 millimeters. The lug to lug is essentially the same. You get female end links. The effective lug to lug will be exactly the same. So 45.5. The effective lug to lug, I believe, is around 45. Well, actually, getting a little bit bigger. 47.5. So it's a little bit bigger on the dive watch. And then let's check that out on the pilot's watch. So the lug to lug on here should be exactly the same. 45.4, so it's basically exactly the same. And then 45.4 on the bracelet. So it's a little bit smaller on the pilot's watch. Not sure why. just because of the way that the end links interact with the case, maybe because it's thicker and you have a much larger screwed in case back on that watch. That could be the reason why it's actually going down further. That might be the issue there. Thickness on the Pilot's watch is 12.6 millimeters. And like I said, you get a 6.3 millimeter crown. It's the exact same crown on either watch. And there you go. So the changes that we're going to be getting right off the bat, obviously, drilled lugs and then the distortion in the actual sapphire crystals. Now, one other change that needs to happen is the bezel on the diver. The bezel on the diver is not good. Not that the action is good, it is almost physically impossible for me to actually move this bezel. It's very, very tight, and it's really hard with dry hands. There is literally no grip on this bezel. I can't even show you the bezel action. You could hear it, but I can't turn it. That's how bad this is. There is no grip on this bezel, even though it is knurled. There is no grip whatsoever, so that needs to change. Otherwise, this is almost not a useful watch. It's weird that they would do that. I guess they didn't realize that it would be that sort of smooth when they put this knurling on here. And for people with dry hands like myself, it's physically impossible for me to use it. So that does need to change. The crowns are nice. So you have that little red strip. Both of them get that. And they actually are pretty smooth operation-wise. And this one, like I said, you get the applied indices. We will do a loom shot because I believe that the bezel is loomed on here as well. So the crystal being changed, the bezel being changed, they're drilling the lugs. The other thing that they're saying they're going to change is the bracelet. Now, you do get very large screwed links in the bracelet, but starting with the clasp is really not at this price point. So what they're charging here is around $320 US for this watch when it initially goes into the early bird special on their Kickstarter. If you could still get it, I would say these watches with the improvements that they're going to make would be worth it. But if you cannot, I'm not sure if these get more expensive than this, if they would be really worth the price. This needs to be completely changed. I think they need to put a milled scissor at the very least, and then they can keep this. This is actually pretty thin, I have to say. And then one thing that I noticed, and it could be my eye, but I'll throw up pictures as well. The logo here is very faintly applied to the buckle, and then it's actually not centered. So that is a little bit weird. It could be my eye, like I mentioned, but that's what I'm seeing on here. Not very good. So this needs to be completely changed. And then the other thing that needs to be completely changed about this is the bracelet itself. You get a flat link bracelet, and I actually like the taper on here. However, and it's hard to replicate, but it does happen very often. When you put the watch down, the links will fold over on themselves, and you get a kink. Now, it wasn't there just a second ago, but from putting the watch actually down, it kinks the link, as you can see. And to get this to unkink, you actually have to sort of fold it back and manipulate it so that it actually will come free. And it's not very easy. And the reason why that's happening is because they've made it very flat on the top, and they've made it sort of finished on the bottom. And they should do it on both sides. Now that's going to change the look of the bracelet completely. So that happens on both of these watches. So when you put it down, depending on how you actually put it down, you actually will get a kink in the bracelet. So there you go. Now I got another one here. This is very, very easy to happen. That's disappointing. And the fact is that if they change this, if they have to amend this and sort of refinish these bracelets, it will look different from what it looks like right now. So that's a major change. So really this watch, these watches will look pretty different from the prototype to the production model. So you're really getting a new bracelet with clasp, new bezel for the diver, and then you're getting drilled lugs, and then new sapphire crystals. So that's going to change the basic dynamic of the entire watch. And you can see both of those kinks did come out after I put them down and up and down. Eventually they do just come out, and you can actually manipulate them to come out as well. So it's not a huge deal, but it is something to keep in mind. $319. a watch with some issues that I think that they are going to address. But again, I can't say that they will be addressed 100% because I don't have a production model. But let me throw them on my wrist, and you can see they look really good on my 7.5-inch wrist. They are very good looking watches. Very quickly before I do, today I have a very weird watch on. This is a Computron. This is in a collaboration with Decentralized Land, or Decave. I think it's Decave. And it says Decave right here and Bulova right there. This has a mineral crystal in the top that allows you to see the movement. It is a driver's watch, obviously the 1970s Computron re-edition. Just a really weird watch and very cool. You have this little sort of etching on the side. They filled this with green paint, and there's sort of a green line that goes around the case itself, which actually shows up when you put a black light on it. It's very hard for me to get it to focus, but there you go. Very interesting watch. I'll be doing a video on that very, very soon. But let me throw the Opus, the pilot's watch, on my 7.5-inch wrist. And I don't have this one sized for my wrist, but you can see, there you go. It does look good on my 7.5-inch wrist. It wears like a 39mm watch. The bracelet, you can see that the links sort of sit up a little bit on the curvature of my wrist. And it doesn't feel sharp, but it feels a little bit on the sharper side. I wouldn't say it's sharp, but it is a little bit on the sharper side. And that's because it's really unfinished on the top of the bracelet. I get the look that they were going for, but to get that executed is very, very hard. And a really good flat link bracelet is very hard to do because of the reasons that I just mentioned. When you're putting them down, you know, it doesn't really, it won't actually sit properly, and the links may get kinked. So you have to make it really, really well. So this one is fitted for my 7.5-inch wrist. This is the diver, and this says 300 meters on the dial. They're changing this to 200 meters. So originally, I guess it was supposed to be a 200 meter or 300 meter dive watch, and they're changing it to 200 meters. So that's the other change. This has sort of a sunburst dial. That has, the pilot is just a matte sort of dial, which is really nice as well. Very good looking watch when it's on your wrist. Like I said, it's really, the problems only manifest themselves when you put the bracelet on a table and then it gets kinked, or if you try and use the bezel right now. Hopefully they correct those things. Very quickly, let's do a loom shot and then wrap up the video. The loom is okay on the indices. It's a little bit better on the hands, so it's a little bit brighter on the hands, so maybe liberally applied on the hands, but really not that liberally applied on the indices. And you can see the second hand has a little pip, but it's very, very faint, very small amount of loom on there, so it's very, very hard to see. And you can see it's fading pretty quickly already. So I think they need to improve the loom on here. And the bezel is loomed on this dive watch, and it is gone already. It literally hangs on for a few seconds. I can't even get it to hang on long enough to get it on camera. So that is pretty bad. So basically, they say it's a loom bezel, but it really doesn't have enough loom to actually display it. So it's not very loomed. The crown is actually loomed pretty well. You could see there's a difference in color because we're getting BGW9 on this watch, which is the pilot watch, C3X1 on the dive watch. So a little bit disappointing in the loom territory. Hopefully they improve that as well. It's not on the list of improvements that they have given me thus far. But if they are improving that, I'll throw that in the comments section down below and in the description to let you guys know. Overall, I think these are good looking watches. They have a lot of potential. There are some issues with the watch that need to be addressed, like the bezel and the bracelet. There are some things that I don't think necessarily need to be addressed, like the distortion in the crystal. I think it looks good, and you're getting a box sapphire crystal, which is really domed. I like that look. Whether or not you like that, I think other people may be complaining about that. I like it. The bezel action needs to be, fixed, and it could be the action is very good, but I can't grip the bezel to actually see what that action is like. So if I have dry hands, if you have dry hands, you're not going to like the bezel action on here. So they said they're going to be improving the grip, and then drilled lugs, of course. The bracelet, they said they're going to be improving, and the buckle. What improvements they're actually going to make, I don't know, because that information is yet to be seen because they have not done it yet. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you guys. They are sponsoring this video, but I have to be honest about the watches. So if you are interested in them, definitely keep what I have said in mind. $319 is not a small sum of money, but it is a nice watch for that money if the improvements are done and done well. That's where I'm at with this. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.